استنى بقى ممدوح.
Good morning, Mr. Terry. My name Saleh. This land from my great grandfather. I'm living in the old KARNAK village, where my great ancestors, the great pharaohs, where they have temples and obelisks and statues. I'm very proud to be from Egypt because it is my mother. Egypt is my mother. So I love my country so much. And so when I come to the countryside, I remember my great grandfather who worked in this field. Until my father, they inherit, and I see I'm planting it, and all these people, just the one for the water pump, his name Amir. This boy, his name Hazim. This name, his name Ashraf. And this is bloody Kamal the driver. And Mahi, Mamdouh, Abu Groon.
Mahmoud.
Hamid from Abbadi family, belong to Fort Takruf. And this is my Coptic friend, the mechanical engineer.
Mechaniki.
Yes.
Now, how long has this been in your family?
This, my friend Amir, he lived here in this house, with the tree.
No, how long has this land, this farm, been in your family?
It's handled for 14 generations. 14 generations.
How many years is that?
It is around maybe 89 years.
الترمسة وين هات الترمسة وفرجي عليها يا عم.
Repeat that.
Yes. This land for my great grandfather, maybe now this land from 189 years.
بيطلوش
From
حامد.
father to son,
حامد
father to son,
بيطلوش من تحت.
until reach me.
لا
So I'm proud I have this land.
يعني
How
دول
many children and grandchildren do you have?
For me, I have 7 children.
استنى يا عمي استنى يا عم ممدوح.
5 daughters and 2 sons. 5 daughters and 2 sons. The 5 daughters were married. They gave me 19 grandchildren. My son 3, a boy and a girl. So for now I have 22, but I count the one, inshallah, of my son will be in a few days. So it became 23. They are together now, until now, 17 grandboys and 5 granddaughters. I have twin granddaughters, Habiba and Hani. I love them very much, but I cannot separate one from each another because they are same. This makes a problem for me.
Identical twins.
Yeah. So that house, the land from my father, and was from mud bricks, and rebuilt from concrete for my family. It was 150 square meters, and each floor one flat, one and another. In the first one, this Mahmoud, my grandson. روح بسك حاجة في رجلك امشي. بسك حاجة في رجلك يلا جي. Gone. And only for my family, for this, in the floor, me and my wife, okay? And when come to visit. Second floor for my son. He married and have 3 kids. The third one for my youngest son, inshallah, after he finished the army and get a job, inshallah, he will going to be war and will be married above his brother, okay?
What about your neighbors?
My neighbors, this side is the Coptics or the Christians, and this is my relative, and all the street we are related to each other. But this only the Coptic house. From there to there, 3 houses. And this Omnia, my granddaughter. Terry, Omnia, my granddaughter.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. What is your name?
Umnaya.
Up. You get up. And how many brothers and sisters does she have?
She and 2 brothers, Mahmoud and Saleh. She's the oldest. Mahmoud, you saw him, he goes to sit on side. In a few minutes you will see Saleh, huh?
هيظلم بصراحة.
أو نسكت يقول هذا وصار. Karnak.
You have 3 grandchildren here.
Now this from my son, from my son, this from my daughter.
And their names?
Huh?
Their names?
This is name Ibrahim
Hello, Abraham.
and Omnia
Omnia.
and Mahmoud.
Hello, Omnia.
Yeah.
And
Hello.
Hello.
and
Mahmoud.
Mahmoud.
Hello.
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 تعال.
تعال يا عيال.
And this Iyad.
Iyad.
One of my grandsons from my daughter too. His name Iyad.
صالح صالح. تعال حبيبي صالح.
تعال يا صالح. هو يدخل لوحده خليه.
هو هيمشي.
And this little Saleh. Hello, Saleh. Can you see little Saleh?
أسد.
صالح. وين العصاية جدي؟ ها؟ صالوح. وين العصاية؟ جدو.
صوت. أنا مفرغة.
ايه جدي؟ القرش؟ تاخذ القرش؟
أنا جنبيهم.
ولا يا صالح.
تعال.
تعال. And this one, his name Akram.
أكرم.
Is that his brother?
No, he's the brother with 2. This one, and Mahmoud and Saleh from my son.
إبراهيم.
The 3 boys here, Ibrahim, Iyad,
هلا.
Akram from my daughter.
قول هلا.
I told you he liked my sticks very much. هذا عصاية الكسر يكسر لي دي.
إيه؟
دي وديها ورا الدولاب
أنا.
بس لا مش انت هي وتحطيها كده ما تحطيهاش فوق على وهات العصاية السوداء ده من استراليا.
من فيها؟
استراليا.
أستراليا.
استراليا.
أستراليا.
Yeah. يا صاص يا صاص ها صاص
جون.
ايه ده؟ تاخد القرش؟ تاخد حلاوة؟ حلاوة؟ تاخد الحلاوة جدي؟ ننة؟ ننة؟ تاخد الننة؟
Now turn him.
صاصة 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 ايه جدي؟ صاص صاص يا واد صاص Get the bag there. You want this door open? حطوا له سكر شو؟ حطيت له سكر؟
قول عايز كل سكر.
How many sugars you want?
2, please.
ملعقتين حطيت أقول لهم حاطين ولا ما حاطينش؟
Good.
Taste good. 2 spoons, huh? You are welcome. And my name Saleh, S-A-L-E-H. And here we are at Karnak. And Karnak at first and the most important, it is my home village. And the home village of my great grandfather. Those ancient Egyptian kings were my great ancestors. So in the behalf of my great ancestors, I have to welcome you again at my birthplace. Karnak, it is the Arabic name. It means in English, the strong fortress. The Greek, when they came, they called this area Thebes. And Thebes, as the east side, we have Karnak and LUXOR temple. It's called by the early Greeks the Acropolis. and Ekro means living, and Polis means city. West side with the King's Valley, the Queen's Valley, Noble Tomb, Hatshepsut, more to a temple called the Necropolis, city of the dead. What about the ancient names of Karnak? At the Old Kingdom, it's called Wasit, W-A-S-T, the town of the power, and belonged for Memphis. At the New Kingdom, 1580 BC, the name is changed into Ebet Esut. And Ebet Esut means the new capital of the New Kingdom, instead of Memphis near Cairo, the capital of the Old Kingdom. So between the Old Kingdom and the New Kingdom, 1200 years. So along the old Egyptian history, Karnak was very important since the Old Kingdom. So every king, he made addition here, obelisks or statues or shrines or temples for the three gods. The three gods of Karnak, their names Amun-Ra. And Amun-Ra, the son of the sun god Ra, the chief of the old Egyptian gods. Usually he crowned with two feathers. One feather justice and one feather wisdom. His wife, her name Mut, M-U-T. She crowned with the vulture wings and double crown and the cobra. And their son Kunsu, the boy, he crowned with the moon disk. So Amun the father, Mut the mother, Kunsu the son, the thread of Karnak. And every king, he believed that he made the complete place for the three gods to regain their love and protection. So we call it Karnak temples, not one temple. Karnak collection. Karnak, greatest natural museum all over the world. It covers area more than 160 acres. It took more than 2,000 years to build. So here it was the landing stage because it was a canal, and the canal joined between Karnak and the river Nile. The canal used for transportation of the obelisks, the transportation of the statues, and the transportation of the boats. Okay? And it used one day every year for the feast of Obed. And Obed festival, it means the annual marriage of the god Amun celebrations. At what time every year? 19th of July. Why 19th of July? Because 19th of July every year appears from the east a star. It is called Sirius or Dog Star. It declared the Nile flood season. Before they built Aswan Dam, the river Nile accustomed to flood 3 months a year, July, August, and September. So during the flood season, the river Nile carried from Africa to Egypt the black silt, and it covered Egypt landscape with the black mud. So at the ancient time, Karnak is called Kemet, K-I-M-E-T, means the black land. Or I can say a young lady, I respect her very much about her knowledge, her information, and her beauty at the same time.
Thank you very much.
I wish I became young, then I could marry her, but I'm too old now. Okay?
Thank you.
But she accepts me because I have a handsome looking. Okay, this is Kevin. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
See you later.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Not
See you
alligator.
inshallah.
Inshallah. Bye-bye. Have a nice time.
Things. Period Tutankhamun, 1350 BC, the 18th dynasty. Tutankhamun, we call him the child or the boy king. Why? Because he became a king when he was 10 and he died 18. Mr. Kevin, Tutankhamun, he became very important even he was a young boy because his tomb, the only tomb discovered intact, complete by Mr. John Howard Carter, the English Egyptologist and archaeologist who worked in the behalf of Lord Carnarvon, the English wealthy man at the King's Valley, 1922, with the collection inside. All the collection exhibited at Cairo Museum, but it's still in the tomb 3 pieces: the stone coffin, the metal mummy case, and the mummy itself. It is the smallest one at the King's Valley, and only painted in one room, the burial room, and the other room rough without decoration. Why? Because the painting did in 70 days of his embalming. 70 days for mummification were not enough, so there is the other rooms rough without decoration. Has 5 names.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 from the 5 names inside cartouches. This we call it cartouche. This birth name and coronation name. Birth and royal. This 1, 2, 3 title for the old kings. All kings. So if I start to read this here, lotus flower. It is means Upper Egypt. The B, it means Lower Egypt. The half Egyptian loaf makes the alphabet T of the hieroglyphics, T, T. Lotus, it read at the ancient time, Nissu, Nissu, and if we add T, it say Nissut. B like English B, and if we add T, it say BT. Together, Nissut, BT, mean the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, one name. The half moon here say Neb, N-E-B, it is means Lord. The two lines and three dots say Tawi, means the two land. Neb Tawi, the Lord of the two lands, two names. His royal name, Ra the sun god. The stick with the head jacket say Osor, means the strongest. The scarab beetle say Kebru, mean existence. Like the alphabet A and Nile water say Merin, means beloved, Amun the god. So altogether Osor, Kebru, Ra, Merin, Amun, the strongest, and existence of Ra, the beloved Amun. Three names. The duck or the goose, it is say Sa, S-A, it means son, S-O-N, and Ra, the sun god, Sa, Ra, son of the sun god Ra. Neb, Lord, and Ka'u, means shining. Neb Ka'u, Lord of shining. Four names. City, Merim Betah. City is the beloved of the god of Betah. The local god of Memphis is the five names of the king, Seti II. Okay? Francois Champollion.
What did he say?
He said in the top, each one can stay 100 people. خمسين يا ابو 50 ها على 100 واحد شامبيون عقال فبيقول لي 50 خفضها reduction 50%. This as a guide and same information 100 people not 50 people. Okay, you see here two statues made from alabaster stone. The left hand side of the statue is TUTENKHAMUN, and beside him his wife, her name Ankh-Spa-Amun. Maybe Mr. Kevin, you asked me what is the meaning of Tutankhamun name. Tut means the image. Ankh means life. Amun the god, the living image of the god Amun. And his wife named her name Ankh-Spa-Amun. And Ankh means life. Pa, the spirit. Amun the god, the living spirit of the god Amun. But I keep a surprise for you, my friend. You see here two cartouches. This one, let it say Osor, Mat, Ra, Setit Ra, and Osor, Mat, Ra, Setit Ra, the strongest and faithful for Ra, who was selected by Ra. This one say Ra Mesis, Merin Amun, and Ra Mesis, Merin Amun, may Ramses, who born by Ra, and the beloved of Amun. These are the two names of Ramesses II. I said Tutankhamun and his wife, but the two cartouches are the two names Ramesses II. Why? Because Tutankhamun were a king before Ramesses II 50 years. So when Ramesses II became a king after 50 years, he gave the order to raise up Tutankhamun names, and they carved his name instead of. Maybe you ask how we do recognize this Tutankhamun. Please, you are kindly requested to look in the face of the statue. It is a round face, belonged for a young boy. Tutankhamun became a king 10 and he died 18. Ramesses II became a king at 29 and he died 95. Look above the head statue, he crowned with Amun crown, the god, the two feathers. One feather justice and one feather wisdom. Tutankhamun was the only king along the old Egyptian history he crowned with Amun crown. Why? Because he restored Amun again after Akhenaton revolution against Amun. Look for the wife, she stand equal, shoulder to shoulder. Ramesses II never equal wife, usually between his two knee or under his left knee. Tutankhamun was the second king along the old Egyptian history. He made his wife equal. Why? Because his father and father-in-law Akhenaton accustomed to keep his wife Nefertiti equal. So when he became a king after his father and father-in-law Akhenaton, he inherited the same habit and same custom, and he made his wife equal. So why he died young? The Great Hall of Columns of Karnak. And the Great Hall of Columns of Karnak is a new name which given by the new Egyptologists. Maybe you ask what were the ancient Egyptian name of this wall of columns. It's called the beautiful garden in which the God Amun living. Ta, Ber, Set, Hata, Nefer Amun. The Greeks, they admired the color and the painting and the carving. They call it hypostyle, and hypostyle means the plantations. Me, I call it the forest of columns. Why? Because it consists of 134 columns, 67 on the right-hand side and 67 on the left-hand side. Okay? It covers area 5,000 square meters. Took more than 100 years to build. Built during the reigns of the three kings, Ramesses I, his son Seti I, and the grandson Rames II. The middle part, it consists of 12 columns. The 12 columns at the middle are 23 meter high. 23 meter high. The capital, it is the open flowers. It means Lower Egypt. The 122 columns in the ascel, to the left and the right, there are 18 meter high. Have the closed capital, it means Upper Egypt. All it were covered with a roof. And the roof and the columns, all from sandstone. So all were carved, scribed, and decorated with colors. So if you look up there, you see the colors still orange colors. What about the shape of the roof? It were high at the middle, low to side, like the head and the two arms. High at the middle, like the head and the two arms. And between the two levels of the ceiling, to the south and the north, they made windows to allow and admitted the light and the air to get through, in which noblemen, high officials, delegations, ministers, prime minister, the high priest of Amun, they made offerings, did prayers, burning incense, and read hymns for Amura, the first courtyard without roof for the common or the local people. Second part of the roof for the most important Egyptian people. Maybe watched the cinema movies were played here. One of them called The Spy Who Loves Me, Roger Moore, okay? And the other one called Death on the Nile, Agatha Christie novel. Rames II with the blue crown, and the blue crown is the war crown, and he burning incense in the presence of the pot of Amun with the ram head, carried in the shoulders of the priests. They have the eagle masks and jackal masks. If you count them, you find them 40, because every boat carried by 40 priests. Sometimes they shaved here, sometimes they have the mask of the jackal and the mask of the eagle. This for Amura. And this one for his wife, her name Mood. Shaved here, the priest here, and also 40. And the top, the boat of their son whose name Kunsu, and cut by the priest, shaved hair, this white long robes, and they cover with the animal skin. This is a three boat, Amun, Mood, and Kunsu. Transportation from KARNAK to the canal. When they start the procession of Hobbit, 19th of July. With the blue crown. He kneeling for Amun-Ra, who crowned with the two feathers, one feather justice and one feather wisdom. Behind Amun-Ra, his son Kunsu, he crowned with the moon disk, and behind Rames II, Mood, Amun wife. He took the medallion of the jubilee of the 30 years, it's called Habset Feast. So it's the medallion of the jubilee of the 30 years of his reign. And here Rames II, he burning incense and made offering table, fruits, flowers, chickens for the Amun men. And Amun men, the Egyptian god of fair. The ruins or the remains of the third gate of KARNAK were built 14 BC, 100. Built of the king Amenhotep III, Tutankhamun's grandfather. So now we can say we come from the new to the old. I said the last gate is 350 BC, and this one 1400 BC. This one built before the last one 1050 years. So KARNAK were built from end to out. In between the third gate of KARNAK and the fourth gate in this area should be 4 obelisks. Each obelisk 25 meter high, 250 tons, weighing one single piece of pink or rose granite stone cut from Aswan quarries. 2 obelisks, 1580 BC, the 18th dynasty of the king TUT'S the first. One is still on the right-hand side, is still standing in Karnak. One to the left now stood at the in front of the Blue Mosque at Istanbul in Turkey. TUT'S III, a king from the 18th dynasty, 1400 BC, he erected 2 obelisks. The left-hand side one, it fell down and destroyed. The right-hand side obelisk now stood at St. Peter Square at the Vatican or Rome in Italy. So one is still standing in Karnak, one in Istanbul, one destroyed, one in Rome. How many together? 4 obelisks.
Who took it to Istanbul?
At the base of Constantine Augustus, because he built the 2 churches. The east church, Constantinople, and the west, Rome. So he took one to Rome and one to Istanbul. When I said 1512 BC, 1490 BC, it made how many years? 22. 22 years. It means Hatshepsut, she reigned in Egypt how many years? 22. And she represented herself a king. She dressed the uniform of the king. She crowned 2 crowns of Upper and Lower Egypt and used the artificial beard of majesty as a king. So I call her the first liberated lady. But when her husband died, Hatshepsut at the beginning were not accepted by Egyptian people. Hello? 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 So I call her the first liberated lady. But when her husband died, she was not accepted by Egyptian people because she was a lady. But the high priest of Amun, his name, sent men who supported Hatshepsut. He fabricated a story that her mother, she married for Ra al-Sangab. And the marriage was arranged by the goddess Ma'at of justice. And the god Ra, he made Ahmuz Nefertari, Queen Hatshepsut's mother, pregnant. She, daughter of Ra. Then she accepted because she was daughter of Ra. During her reign, she was very peaceful, no wars. So she cut her tomb at the king's valley, at the king, and her tomb number 20. It is the longest one at the king's valley, 300 meters long. She built a temple other side called Deir al-Bahari, the mortuary temple. At Karnak, she erected 2 obelisks, built the ready shrine for Amon-Ra, and statues and columns. Okay? And she sent the famous expedition to the east coast of Africa at the mouth of the Red Sea for a country which called at the ancient time Punt, P-U-N-T, and Punt now Somalia. It were a commercial or a trading expedition. Hatshepsut, he sent from Egypt 5 ships, inside them gold and silver and electrum and alabaster and statues. And the 5 ships, they sailed from Safaga port on the Red Sea, south. Hatshepsut, she delegated a man, his name Nahsi, and Nahsi means African. Why the African man? Because he could speak the Somalese language. So when they arrived to Somalia coast, in the reception were Barhu, the king of Somalia, and his wife. So when Nahsi, he met Barhu, he told him, Your Majesty, I came for peace, I never came for war. And he gifted him necklaces, bracelets, axe, dagger, and rings made out of gold. On the return, Barhu gave Nahsi incense, ivory, and spices. She has a stepson. His name TUT'S III. He wanted to marry his stepmother Hatshepsut and became a king, but Hatshepsut, she refused to marry him. Why? Because his mother were a Nubian concubine from this house. And he was not from the pure line of the king's family. And Hatshepsut, she felt in love with her architect, his name Senamut. So Senamut became Hatshepsut's architect and boyfriend. When she died, her stepson, he married her daughter and became a king. But he was angry and jealous. Angry because she refused to marry him, and jealous because she loved the architect. So he gave the order, destroyed her tomb at the king's valley. Her temple other side, all her monuments at Karnak except the obelisk. Not enough for him, he gave the order to defacing or raise up all her figure and cartouches. Okay. Pregnant mother. F, the snake means his. Ka, beast, mod, F, the strong pull who made his mother pregnant. The strong pull who made his mother pregnant. Ka, piece meat off. And here, his figure. Thutmose III, he sat on the throne of Egypt. Two lions, one facing east, one it is facing west, called Ra-Im-Akt. Ra-Im-Akt means sun god Ra is strong as a lion as the east and the west of Egypt. Then you see two figures, one on the right hand side and left for the god whose name Hapi, H-A-P-I, the god of the river Nile. Usually the god Hapi have big breast of a woman and a man body, okay? Half part woman and half part a man. Why? Because they believe the river Nile, the mother and the father of Egypt. At the middle, you see the river Nile at the throat, at trachea, with the two lungs. It means Egypt means the Nile, the breath, or the life of Egypt. The god Hapi on the right hand side holding papyrus, it means lower Egypt. The god Hapi on the left holding lotus means upper Egypt. The two flowers bending or joining together, they made Semitawi, and Semitawi means unification between Upper and Lower Egypt, and Thutmose III, the king of the United Egypt. Numbers from the bed of the king Thutmose III, number of the offering. He offered a temple for Amun. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, those until 9. Here number 10, the horseshoe. 26, 30, 23, 12, 11, 21, 128. 450, those until 1,000. More than 1,000 until 1 million, it is here. But it's left uncompleted because you see some squares are blank because they did at the late period. Because the tablet of the numbers, or the annual tablet from Thutmose III about the offering he did for God Amun. Okay? Here the shrine of the queen Hatshepsut. I said her stepson, he gave the order to defacing all her figures. So Hatshepsut figure while defaced. He stood between Horus, the falcon god, the god of the moon, and Tut, the ibis. And the ibis had got his name Tut, he had 9 locks. The god of wisdom, truth, law, writing, knowledge, medicines, science, magic, and eye doctor. So altogether 9 locks. The washing Hatshepsut head with the holy water did the purification, the process before she crowned with the 2 crowns. Where we can see the 2 crowns, look above the head of the ibis. You see a green blade. On the right hand side, the red crown of Lower Egypt. On the left hand side, the white crown of Upper Egypt. Then you see Hatshepsut figure while it defaced. She stood between Amun-Ra to the right and Horus of Semitawi left. They holding her hands. It means Hatshepsut were accepted by Horus and Amun as the king for Upper and Lower Egypt. Then Hatshepsut and one of her daughters, the 2 figures defaced, they offering for Amun-Ra. And Amun-Ra, the son and son of God Ra, he crowned with the 2 feathers, ostrich feather, one justice and one wisdom. Hatshepsut, with the crown, the figure defaced, did the running process and offering wine for the god who became Amun-Men. And Amun-Men, the Egyptian god of fertility, with 1 arm and 1 leg and a cucumber. Okay? He was a man, his name Kemet, K-I-M-E-T, means the black man, and he accustomed to rape women, ladies and girls. And he wrote a list about the names. Among the names, the name of the mother of the king and his sister, and the name of his mother, himself, and his sister. So the king, he get angry and gave the order to punish him. The punishment, they cut the arm and the leg. When he became with 1 arm and 1 leg, they left him behind and went to fight it against the Hittite and Nubians. When the war over and they came home, the famous women and ladies were pregnant, and some of them, they get a new children. So which with 1 arm and 1 leg, and they call him Amun-Men, the Egyptian god of fertility, because they believe he gave them people, instead people were killed in the war. Even they respect him and make him a human being, but also consider him as a bull. Made about him a joke. Come with me. Of Karnak. The Great Hall, it is the Arabic name, which is given by the early Arabs and the archaeologists and Egyptologists. Maybe you ask what were the ancient Egyptian name of this Hall of Columns. The ancient Egyptian name Ta, Ber, Set, Hata, Nefer, Amun. What is the meaning of Ta, Ber, Set, Hata, Nefer, Amun? It means the beautiful garden in which the god Amun living. The Greeks, when they came, they admired the carving, they call it hypostyle. And hypostyle means the plantations. Me, I call it the forest of columns. Why? Because it consists of 134 columns. The 134 columns, they covered area 5,000 square meters. They took more than 100 years to build. Built during the reigns of the three kings, Ramesses I, his son, Seti I, and the grandson, Ramesses II. The middle part, it consists of the 12 columns. The 12 columns at the middle is 23 meters high. Have the classical oval floors, it means Lower Egypt. The 122 columns to the ascent on the right and the left, they are 18 meters high. Have the closed cabinet, means Upper Egypt. All it were covered with a roof. And the roof and the column, all from sandstone. So all were carved, scribed, and decorated. So if you look up there, you see the color is still original color or good painting. What my friend, hello, about the shape of the roof, it were high as the middle, low to the side like the head and the two arms. And between the two levels of the ceilings, to the south and the north, they made windows or balconies to admit it and allowed the light and the air to get inside. In which noblemen, high officials, delegations, ministers, prime ministers, the high priest of Amun, the priest and the royal family, they made offerings, did prayers, burning incense, and sing hymns for Amun. The first courtyard used by the common or the local people. Second part with the most important Egyptian people. Maybe, ladies and gentlemen, you watched the cinema movie. It's called Death on the Nile. Agatha Christie novel. Yeah. Part of the movie was filmed here, 1978. When they pushed a stone between these two columns, they tried to make a crime to kill a lady. The actress in the movie, her name Jane Birkin. She were in the movie with David Niven and Pete Stanoff. And she acted the tourist like you. And of course, the tourist is the guide. Imagine whom's the guide in the movie Death on the Nile. Wait and see, gentlemen, how photograph completely. I like you. Yeah, Tony. How you are, my friend. This is the article about your guide in the T magazine. Life of Death on the Nile. And below my picture, you can see my name, SALEH. You read it? Extra in the movie Death on the Nile. So I'm a guide and a movie star.
Yeah.
Okay, this way, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
You had a good night? Okay. بيصور يا عبد الرحمن وراك مالك
بسلم عليك.
ما تطلع في الفيديو يا راجل
انا اخبارك عريسي واحد ياخد صوره.
Good morning, lady. Your name Evelyn?
April. Yeah.
How are you? I remember your name, huh? I don't forget you.
Thank you.
Sorbet, how are you?
We come on the.
Yeah, come in a donkey, yeah?
No, we didn't come on donkey.
In the asses.
My husband's on the donkey.
In the ass.
Yes.
He put his ass on the ass, huh?
And here we meet baboon.
Yes. See you soon after a while, a baboon. See you, a kangaroo in the zoo. How are you, lady? The tomb number 1, and this is the King's Alley, Ramses VII, this one. 1735, by Bekuk, the British or the English clergyman. And he marked it at the King's Alley at the time 10 tombs. The next tomb, the tomb number 2, is our aim to visit. You follow me. My friends, you are kind to keep it close to me because today the time not like yesterday, okay? Yeah. ما نفتش براحتك. لا ما خلينا نشتغل لو سمحت. So here the tomb, please. Tomb KV2, Kings Valley, the tomb number 2. According discovery, 1735. For the king Ramesses IV. Ramesses IV, period, dynasty 20. 1170 BC. 1170 BC. The tomb open since antiquity, the Greek time. Because the Greek, the early antiquity came to the Vatican king. They robbed the gold and the silver, making them jewelry. Okay? Ramesses IV, his reign was 8 years. So the tomb, it took 8 years to cut in the mountain and plaster and sketch it and carve and decorate. Because when he became a king, he gave the order to cut his tomb under his supervision. He steps to right and the left and the ramp at the middle. Because the stone coffin is too heavy, weighing 3 tons. So it's not carried. It's laid or rolled inside the tomb easy. When they kept the stone coffin and the mummy inside and the mummy casket and the collection inside here, they built a wall at the entrance from limestone and completely covered with plaster. And sealed with the 2 names, the family cartouche or royal cartouche. Then they heap the sand, the stone and the dust to hide the tomb completely from the grave rock. When you go inside, on the right hand side you see a graffiti. 2 figures, 48 and 4 legs and 4 feet. The 2 figures for the goddess are named Nut, N-U-T, the goddess of the heaven or sky. They believe when the sun sets, the goddess Nut every evening she swallows the sun. And the sun cruises her bus at night and delivers again at this morning. It means rebirth. Rebirth. So swallow the sun every evening, the sun inside her body and deliver again at this morning shining. It means rebirth. Why 2 places, 1 for days and 1 for night? The chapter of days and night of the king Ramesses IV. About the lady on the left hand side, you see a right and left for corn, wheat, barley, 5 fish, meat, wine and bread. Why they kept food inside? Because they live in the clear side. Will survive, eat and drink again. Whole idea, all the tomb carved. Until here, painted with the ink and brushes. Why all the tomb carved are just only painted? Because the painting here did in 70 days of his embalming. 70 days was not enough, so you have no carving. My friend, you have your ticket, you go inside the gallery of art, have a look inside, and please make it short and sweet, okay? Because David the American discovered this tomb with Carter, the tomb number 55. This tomb for unknown king. But inside they discovered a alabaster stone with carved TUTENKHAMUN'S cartouches. Inside the vase kept a document, royal paper. It say as soon as TUTENKHAMUN kept the title at the ancient time, his tomb break in by the grave robber 2 times, but they arrested by the police. This made sure TUTENKHAMUN tomb at the king's died, the tomb number 55. Okay, inside they discovered a mummy for 7 karat, and the alabaster vase which kept the various tables say TUTENKHAMUN tomb were tried to rob 2 times at the ancient time, but they arrested by the police at the ancient time.
عم فرح تعالى اقعد جنبي عايزه اسالك على حاجه.
عيوني وقلب العاشق.
You need a cigarette now.
Yes, of course.
On behalf of Imaginative Travelers, I want to thank a very famous guide. His name is SALEH. He was very genius today to introducing the tombs to us. And he's perfect and nice, and he has the sense of humor. And actually now I want to say to you something, I want to marry him.
Yes, why not? I hope my wife doesn't see this. Okay, my friend.
Okay.
I'm so happy meeting you, Charlotte.
Thank you.
I'm so glad and completely I drown in your love.
Ja, aussteigen!
Hi.
morning to the world.
Good morning to the world. Good morning, Mr. Terry.
Good morning, Saleh.
Good morning. We are now at the Valley of the Kings. And the Valley of the Kings, or the Tomb Kings, consists of 62 tombs. Together. 62. Tomb number 1 discovered Ramses 7. Second tomb, Ramses 4. Number 3, the sons of the king Ramses III. Number 4, the sons of the king Ramses II. And this KB5, where they discovered 133 rooms, belong for 52 sons of the king Ramses II, who died in his life. By Mr. Dr. Kent Weeks, the American archaeologist.
Which tombs did I visit today?
You went to the tomb of the king. You visited Seti, the second tomb, the tomb number 15, and the tomb of Septah. And Septah was the grandson of the king Ramses II, the tomb number 46.
How long have you been a guide here in Karnak?
I'm guiding more than 40 years now. More than 40 years.
And where were you born?
I was born in KARNAK village. 5 August 1943. I am 68 years old now.
Tell me where your home was when you were a young boy.
When I was a young boy, our house was from mud bricks.
Inside?
Inside, yeah.
Inside where? Down?
Inside KARNAK village.
Inside the temple?
Inside the temple until 1954. And then they moved us. I was 11 at the time.
And tell us about the depth of the silt.
The silt, it is up to the columns, and the village above the columns.
When did they excavate the
They started
village?
excavate 1881 by Monsieur Justin Maspero, the French archaeologist, until 1954 by Henri Chauvret, the French archaeologist.
How many years did it take to dig out all the sand and the silt?
From 1881 until 1954. Around maybe 68, 60 some.
History of Luxor.
Yes.
From the ancient times.
Luxor, at when Egypt were two kingdoms, Lower and Upper Egypt. Lower Egypt, 21 regions, and the capital was at Un, and Un now is Heliopolis, near Cairo. Upper Egypt, 21 regions, and the capital was at Nakhl or Edfu now. The two kingdoms, why 42? Because when Osiris was killed by Set, he cut him in 14 pieces. Isis, the wife of Osiris, she looked for the fragment of the body of her husband. She collected the body from different parts of Egypt. So everywhere she found the part, she made a cult. And a cult for 3 gods. So if we account 14 pieces and 13 cults, or each place 3 gods, we found them 42. The two countries, Upper and Lower, were enemies, fighting one against the another. At the time, Luxor was the forenome of Egypt, and it's called Wasit, W-A-S-T, means the town of the power.
Town of the...
Power. Power. Power.
What is power?
Strong.
Strong.
Strong power.
How did Luxor get its name?
النبي خليه هناك أنا جاي. Yes.
How did Luxor get its name?
Then when Egypt united by the first king Mena, He took his capital at Abydos. Then transport from Abydos to Memphis, just as the old kingdom. At the Seminole dynasty, it was 1720 BC, it was declined. You call it the first intermediate period for the 7, 8, 9, and 10 dynasty. 11 and 12 was very powerful, united again. And the capital sometime at Al-Fayoum, near Cairo, and sometime here at LUXOR. And it's still the name Wasit, W-A-S-T.
Who changed the name to Luxor?
Just a minute. 13 dynasty Egypt were conquered. By whom? By the Hyksos.
What period? What date?
1720 BC. It was the 13th dynasty. And occupied it for 200 years. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 dynasty. But Luxor was independent, under a strong people. They gathered the army, made the power, fight the Hyksos and defeated them away. It was 1580 BC, the beginning of the new kingdom or the 18th dynasty. So when they conquered the Hyksos, they took Luxor as a capital for the new kingdom. And the name changed from Wasit into Ebet Esut. And Ebet Esut means the capital of the new kingdom. And still Ebet Esut until the Greek came. The Greeks, they call it Thebes, ancient Thebes. When the Arab came, they admired the building, they call it Luxor. And Luxor means the palaces, because one palace in Arabic means castle. But Luxor, the place of the many palaces. This is the name Luxor. And Luxor means the palaces. Okay?
And what time, date in history was the Greeks arriving?
The Greeks, they arrived 332 BC under the leader Alexander the Great, and still in Egypt until 21 BC. Then the Roman invaded Egypt until 400 AD.
After the Romans?
After the Greek.
After the Greek came
Yes.
the Romans?
Yes.
After the Romans?
The Coptics, Christian,
From where?
from Egypt. Egypt became a Christian country
Why did they turn to Christianity?
because when Jesus Christ born, his mother was afraid. So she immigrated from Palestine to Egypt when he was a child, because the holy trip of the Holy Family, and stay here in Egypt until he became maybe 6 years or more, and according to the holy trip of the Holy Family. So the Egyptians, they know Jesus Christ when he was a baby. So when he came with the religion of Christianity, they believed him and became Christians.
What has this got to do with Moses and the parting of the Red Sea?
Moses, was as the new kingdom, around 1200 BC. 1200 BC. And Moses, he born south of Luxor, 15 kilometers, in a place called Atod. And when he born, his mother was worried because the Pharaoh or the king, he gave the order to kill all Jewish children. While she feed him her breast, she was worried.
Stop, please. Please, stop. Okay, carry on. Continue the
Thank you.
story.
Thank you. And when he born, his mother was frightened. Okay? Moses, he told his mother, put me in the fire, because the Pharaoh soldiers, they attack the house. And don't be worried. So she put him in the fire. Until they go, and she picked him out, he was smiling. Yes. And she feed him her breast, Then the Lord God told her, please put him in a basket, let it floating by the river Nile. So floating from At-Tut, south of Luxor, until he stopped at KARNAK. But his sister was following him. They brought many women to feed him, but he refused. And his sister interfered. She said, I bring a lady, she look after him. So she brought his mother. And his mother looked after him in the palace of the Pharaoh. When they collect him from the water, he have no name. So they asked the lady she collect him, where you get this boy? He said from the water. They call him Musa. And Mu in hieroglyphics, water. And Sa means son, S-O-N. Musa, son of the water. And he grown up and he became a man and he killed Egyptian man. He killed Egyptian man because one Jewish fight Egyptian man. And when he killed him, the Egyptian wanted to kill him. So he fled with his own to Sinai. And he went to Midian. And Midian near Al-Arish, near Palestine. And he married a daughter of what's his name? The daughter of a man, because he helps them to give water for their animals. So I employed you with me for 8 years. And if you would like to make them 10, you make them 10. But you can marry one of my daughters. So he married. And stayed 40 years out of Egypt. When he left, he was 30. When he came to Egypt, he was 70. Then he began to make his voice for collect people for the new religion, Jewish religion. So the Jewish people follow him. At that time, you know how many? There are 400,000 Jewish people in Egypt. So the king or the pharaoh, I think Merenbetah, son of the king Ramses II, he wanted to kill Moses and the Jewish. So Moses, he went to the Red Sea and beat the water. The water became two parts. There's a dry road. Moses crossed with his people. Then the water became one piece again, and the pharaoh and his soldiers and his army were drowned. When I born 5 of August 1943. KARNAK was under rubble of dust, sand, and stones, and all KARNAK village in the top of the river, in the top of KARNAK. Okay, because the Nile used to flood and surround the temple with water. So the family is still there, and then 1881 they start excavating by Monsieur Justin Maspero, the French archaeologist. They move people, replace them family after family until 1954. My family moved from above KARNAK to the house here. I was 11 years old. And usually I walk around with the tourists when I was a little boy and guides, so I love this job. I started school in KARNAK, okay? Then I school in LUXOR, the high school. After the high school, I studied 3 years. Then I graduated to become a guide.
How many people in your family?
My own family or the tribe?
Your family. Say I have a wife.
I have a wife.
Her name?
And her name Naima, and 7 children, 5 daughters and 2 sons. And 5 daughters are married. They gave me 20 grandchildren, and 1 boy married 3, so altogether 23 grandchildren.
And the latest grandchild?
Saleh. She carry my name. And my son, he named Saleh because he loved me. So he called his son Saleh because he would like to keep my name in the family.
And how old is the youngest grandchild?
Grandchild around 2 years now.
You love him.
I love. He's nice, but naughty but nice.
Today we are going to the fields to see some harvesting.
Yes. I wish we found some people working there. I wish so.
Yes. Talk about Abydos.
Abydos. It is the main cult of the god Osiris. As I said before, Osiris was cut in 14 pieces by Set, his brother. Isis, his wife, she looked for his fragment all over Egypt. She collected the whole body except 2 pieces, the head and his member hood. They believe the member hood is swollen by a catfish. Isis, while she sat in Phila Island and she crying, the falcon brings the member hood of Osiris. Okay? And then Isis, Egyptians, they believe, when Isis was grief and sad, she cried, and from her tears, the water flood every year. The river Nile flood every year. So they make the god of the river Nile happy, H-A-B-I, half part woman and half part a man. Why? Because the part of the woman, Isis, because when she cried, her tears made the Nile flood every year. And the part of the man, Osiris, because he make her sad and cry. Isis, when she looked for the head of her husband at Phila temple in Aswan, she was very sad and grievy and cried. And I said her, they believe her tears makes the Nile running and flood every year. While she was sleeping, she had a dream. The crocodile came her dream, told her, I transport you from here to Tina or Abydos, and the head of your husband over there. She amount the crocodile, and the crocodile carry her on the river Nile until Abydos or Tina. Over there she found the head. So why they took Abydos as the main cult for Osiris. And it was very important nome, the 6 nomes of Egypt. In Abydos, they took Abydos as the main cult, and at Abydos was the first king of Egypt, his name Mena. Mena united Egypt. He conquered Lower Egypt and made his capital at Tina, which became later Abydos. So the first king of Egypt from Abydos.
What period, what date?
3200 BC.
Just tell us where we are, please.
So here we are at LUXOR tomb. And LUXOR is the Arabic name, which is given by the early Arab. It means in English, the palaces, because one palace in Arabic means castle. LUXOR is the plural of palace. The Greek, they call it Thebes. The ancient Egyptian name Ber-Resut Amun, and Ber-Resut Amun means the south house of the harem of the god Amun. Why they call it the south house of the harem of the god Amun? Because every year, 19th of July, the divine family Amun, Mut, and Kunsu, and the king and his wife, they came from Karnak to LUXOR Regional with 3 boats in the big procession, and stayed here for the 12 days and two-night celebration. Then they went to Karnak with the avenue of the Sphinxes, which join or link it between LUXOR and Karnak 3.5 kilometers. Consists of 1600s, 800 right and 8 left. Carries the 3 boats of the 3 gods on the shoulders of 120 beasts. They shaved hair, this white robes covered with the animal skin. Behind them, the chariot of the king and his wife. As the emperor of LUXOR, it were 2 obelisks. From the period of the reign of the king Ramses II. Second, the king or Ramses the Great, a king from the 19th, it means 13 BC. 1 obelisk to the left-hand side is still standing. 1 to the right now stood at the Place de la Concorde in France, in Paris. Were gifted by Muhammad Ali Pasha the King of Libre France, and now stood on the Place de Concorde in Paris. So here's the facade of LUXOR temple. When it was complete with the two obelisks outside, one on the Place de Concorde and one is still outside. Here, 6 statues for the King Ramses II, 4 standing and 2 seated, made from granite stone, and 4 flags decorated the entrance. Here, the sons of the King Ramses II. If you account those from this one until the end of this pylon, you find them 92. Because this morning I said the boys 92 and the daughters 106. These are 92 sons. Who became a king after his father? Merem Bitah, the son number 17. And he was not a son from Nefertari. He was a son from a concubine. Okay? You see the decorated. Here's the sons of the King Ramses II, the princes, each one guiding a big oxen. This for the offering for the feast of Obed, when they celebrate the 12 days as a celebration here every year during the flood season. It's called the feast of Obed, and Obed feast means the annual marriage of the god Amun celebration, or the honeymoon of the god Amun at LUXOR temple every year.
Okay.
TUTENKHAMUN and his wife. But my friend, I'd like to notice the dress of the lady. It's very fashionable. You can see, like a fish. Okay? عينك كمان ماشي خيري
لا الباب.
اقول دي على الحج خيري على الباب. ها ماشي سلام.
Saleh,
Yes, sir.
just tell me where we are.
Now we are in the East Valley of the King's Valley. East Valley of the King's Valley. And this area, the first tomb, number 38, for the King Thutmose I. And the first tomb were dug at the King's Valley, 1580 BC, the 18th dynasty. Why Thutmose III, Thutmose I selected this area as a tomb for the kings? The first more important reason, above the King's Valley you see a natural pyramid. You know, kings from the Old Kingdom, when the capital at Memphis near Cairo, the tombs of the Old Kingdom kings were the Great Pyramids. It were 2800 BC. After 1200, Memphis, LUXOR became the capital for the New Kingdom, 1580 BC. So when the New Kingdom kings noticed this natural pyramid, they believe it is a gift from the god. Gave them the feeling about their late fathers, so they dug their tombs underneath one divine or one sacred pyramid.
And where are we going right now?
Now we're going to the tomb of the king Thutmose IV. Thutmose IV, a king from the 18th dynasty, the son of the king Amenhotep II, and the father of the king Akhenaten, and the grandfather of Tutankhamun, Thutmose IV.
Saleh,
Yes, sir.
who is that tomb down there?
This Ramses I tomb, tomb number 16. Tomb number 16, Ramses I. the down, the bottom where the ladies, Ramses 5 and 6 2. To the right, Tutankhamun 2 in the bottom. So here Ramses first 2, Ramses 5 and 6 2, Tutankhamun 2 underneath.
And the tomb we are visiting now,
Ramses, Tutmoses the 4.
off we go.
Tutmoses the 4. Yes. Tutmoses the 4, a king or a pharaoh from the 18th dynasty. It is around 1370 BC.
Okay.
So here is the tomb KV 43. K means kings, V means valley, is the tomb number 43. For the king Tutmoses the 4. The 18th dynasty. It means 1370 BC. The tomb discovered by Mr. John Howard Carter, 1902. But the tomb were empty because the mummy moved to another tomb. Okay? By the high priest king, his name Hori-Hor from the 21 dynasty. The tomb discovered 1898 AD by Monsieur Victor Louis, the French archaeologist. The tomb number 35 I mentioned yesterday, in which he discovered how many was 13, 9 royal kings, 3 royal queens, and 1 boy. Among the 9 kings, the mummy of Tutmoses IV are now at Cairo Museum. When you enter the tomb, you go through steps. The most interesting tomb you see here, the goddess Hathor. Goddess Hathor. And the deceased king Tutmoses IV, with his name Men-Kebru-Ra. Men-Kebru-Ra. And she gave him Ankh. It means she gave him eternal life. Hathor, for the idea, she depicted as a cow, with the 2 horns and Ra between, and sometimes a lady with the face of the lady and 2 ears the cow, and sometimes a lady on her head horse, her husband. Hathor, for the idea, she had 11 jobs: the goddess of love, beauty, joy, music, dancing, West Mountain, 7 stars, motherhood, Sakamoti, magic, and healing. So altogether, 11 jobs. You see Tutmoses IV, the departure king, on the present of the god Osiris, the great dead, resurrection and justice. And his name Men-Kebru-Ra. Tutmoses IV, in the present of Osiris, and Osiris the great dead, resurrection and justice. Here in the present of the jackal of God, whose name Anubis, and Anubis, the jackal of God, the god of mummification and embalming. In the present of the goddess Hathor, I mentioned she had 11 jobs. Here again, Tutmoses IV, in the present of the goddess, her name Isis. Isis here, same Hathor, but we can make separation because you see here, Ber-Horus, the house of Horus, her husband. Ber-Hor means the house of Horus, and Hathor, she lived the same house, was Horus. So called Ber-Horus, the house of Horus. So his wife, her name Hathor. You look for the dress, is very fashionable. And here is the present again of Hathor again, and here the jacket of God was named Anubis, the god of mummification and embalming, jewel to misleading or to trap the grave robbers. Here this part when left unfinished, no painting. This part should be the same scenes. So they start to here to make sketches. You see sketches or outlines. But he did before he completed his tour. Here a room was 2 better. She gave the Ankh. It means eternity for the departure king Tutmoses IV. Then Ankh given by the jacket of God, and Ankh given by Hathor again, and here the god Osiris, the god dead, a resurrection and justice, he have the stick of stability and eternity. Here, Hathor and Tutmos IV. This, here you see a graffiti from the early people. They came here at the early Coptic, at the early antiquity period.
Can you read this graffiti?
Which graffiti say here, it is say, we start from here. You see here, Ra, who has the eternal life, giving the name of the 12 gates for the king, because the life have 12 gates, and here he was the king of the two lands, and also the stability and immortality and existence. Inside, it is cut from red sandstone. It takes KARNAK, or the writing bearing the cartouches of the king Tutmos IV, and takes from the Book of the Dead. And Book of the Dead means what in the afterlife or the underworld. Here, the jackal has got his name Anubis, and here the three figures of the king Tutmos IV.
Stop. Ah. I thought, shit, we're really in here now.
The curse of the pharaohs. 4 side rooms, 2 on the right hand side and 2 on the left for the beds, the chairs, the chariots, the gold, the silver, the alabaster and the statues. And also they kept inside them corn, wheat, barley, 5 fish, meat, wine and bread. Why? Because they believe they will survive, eat and drink again. Even the king for a short time, only 30 years, but his tomb is cut very big.
When was this tomb discovered?
Discovered 1903 by John Howard Carter, the British.
Okay.
Here the figure of the goddess Nephthys, because the goddess knew the sky, and her husband gave. They had 4 children: Osiris, Isis, Set, and Nephthys. 2 daughters and 2 sons. Here, Nephthys, and Nephthys usually the goddess of the west, and Isis the goddess of the east. The sister Osiris and Set. Osiris he married for Isis, and Set he married for Nephthys. But Set was devil, so he killed his brother Osiris, and he cut him in 14 pieces. So this Nephthys, the sister of Osiris and Isis. And here the royal name of Tutmos IV, Menkibiru Ra. Menkibiru Ra. It's Caribbean, say Kibiru, Men and Ra, Nebkibiru Ra. His family name, Tutmoses Neferkau, who born by Tut and was the God beloved of the shining of Ra.
What period was the reign of this king?
1370 BC.
Which dynasty?
The 18th. The text and scripture here from the Book of the Dead. And Book of the Dead means what in the afterlife or the underworld. What in the afterlife or the underworld called text from the Book of the Dead, or inscriptions from the Book of the Dead. And also this gave the king mummy for the protection from devil spirits.
Again.
KV 15. Yeah. King's Valley, the tomb number 15. For the king Seti II. Dynasty 19. It means around 1200 BC. The tomb opened since antiquity, the Greek time, but were empty, because the mummy were moved by the high priest king whose name Ba-Negim, to keep them safe from the grave robbers. 1871 AD, the local man, his name Muhammad Abdel Rasul, he discovered this hiding place, where near Hatshepsut temple. He discovered the 40 kings' mummies, including the mummy of the king Seti II. About the scenes at the entrance, on the right and the left, you see the figure of the goddess Mat of justice. She crowned with the feather of justice, spread her wings, or protect the two cartouches of the king. Here, Seti II burning incense represent to God whose name Rahurakti. A Rahurakti, horse who flying with Ra in the heaven, with the spirit of the king. For I did this carving, it is not decorated, still white. Okay, because they have no time finish it too. Then when you walk through here, you see outlines, only sketches. Use outline from red ink and they correct with the black ink. After the correction, they gave the order to decorate it and carve it and paint it. About here, they got painting of the goddess in shrine, like Sobek, the crocodile of Kumambo. Okay? And here, the Saluki, or the tiger, and here they got Osiris, the god of the dead, redemption and justice. Here, Seti II offering the figure of Mat of justice for the god Osiris, and here he offering him for Osiris. About the body room, only the lid of the coffin is still inside.
ما رجعت لك بلد يمكن بلد شكرني لين يا زمان ايوه لا بعد انا معي ستيك ما انا هو اقرب مني لا مش عم نستغرب لا عيب عيب
Sindibad, good Sindibad. Lovely morning. Yeah.
So we are on the first trip in a balloon.
And I thank you very much because you offered the trip for me. So I'm appreciating you, my friend.
Send us a line.
First time for me.
No, wait till the noise stops.
First time in the balloon with my friends Melissa, Sweetie Pops, Chocolate Pony.
She went.
Okay. You see? I'm so happy we are in the balloon together. For me and Sherwood the first time. Okay? But I'm happy because I have the Sweetie Pops, Lollipop, and Chocolate Pony. And this.
Pardon. Thank you. Thank you.
Melissa, hello. Well, that Hatshepsut temple.
What did you say then, Saleh?
I make a jokes.
Yes.
You know why I have a head? You know why I have a head? To carry my turban. You know why I have upper lips? To carry my mustache.
Look, sunrise.
Yes, sir. You know what is this? The sun.
What can you see down there now?
LUXOR tomb.
Kartenhuis, ontdekking.
Het kaartenhuis, dit is nou wel...
Kartens ontdekken.
Ja, dat weet ik. Wat moet ik dan mee?
Did you say you need a cigarette?
Yes, of course. Why not? But I am not idiot, my friend. No, I'm not idiot, my friend. I cannot smoke here. You know why? Because of the gas.
I know, you blow us all up.
And also, I'm the hand of the pilot.
You are?
I'm the hand of the pilot.
Are you
Captain.
related to him?
Yes.
Tell me your relationship with the pilot.
His mother is my aunt. His mother are my aunt. So
أنا أقول لهم بدري كل شهر. Ja, nou omgegaan, een beetje. Oh, kan toch allemaal een beetje haast. Nou. Maar dat waar die hoek in zit, dat moet ook nog weg.
Het laatste stukje niet.
Where do you think we are going to land?
because the balloon going down.
When? Which part? Near here?
Near here.
Yep.
In a few minutes.
Yep.
هننزل عند بابور عبقري. Sherwet, if you want more sugar cane, I bring you here because they are my relative also. Welcome to the ground again, my friends. Everyone, listen to me. Welcome to the ground again in the behalf of me. By the way, the pilot, he is my nephew. I'm his uncle. Really? No, I'm not joking. That's a joke. I'm his uncle. So I direct him when I talk to you.
Hello, hello, you Danish.
I've been doing his job when I was young.
He's letting off steam. Hot air.
صلى على النبي. خلاص يا بابا خليك ورا للطوف. خليك ورا يا دعوة لك للطوف.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome.
A good trip, thank you. And Saleh is your uncle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I know. And how many relatives do you think Saleh has?
Sorry.
Saleh has many in his family.
Yeah.
About how many people in his family in total?
In his family?
Yeah.
5,000.
A tribe?
Yeah.
And he is the head man of the tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he one of my lot of cousins. You know most these people in the crew, they are my relatives. Especially this Hamada. He lost his motorbike 1 month ago. You know his father's name Falham.
Oh yes, yes.
sometimes نفلهم.
So you're going to kiss him goodbye?
سلام. هننزل هذوك ولا؟
ان شاء الله.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
ازيك يا اخينا؟ انت من زنيق؟
everybody.
زنيق؟
من الحبيله.
وين فتح الله؟
Hello. Yes. And these are all your relatives?
Yes, most of them. أهلا يا عزيز. ما أنت واد مين يا؟
وادي انا من الغرب عاد.
لا.
He's like a
وارد
monkey.
مين يا؟
Look, he's like a monkey.
Excuse me.
بتعرف ليه جاي هنا؟ جاي أكسر قصب.
لا جاي ناخذ نحبة قلوة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال لك شد. خلاص
بسم الله الرحمن
في حاجة أكثر من حاجة؟
نور عمي.
وجودك والله.
سيبها يا فلهم. يقولون نحطهم في الأرض بعد كده نعمل العجين.
ده أبوش مفهم.
عشان جاي الاسم الفهم.
تعرف أنا خالف.
يا جامد.
بس بتقول
Hello, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please, good morning. On the behalf of the pilot, because he is my nephew and his uncle, I wish for you a nice trip and a very wonderful day. Okay? Okay. Where are you from? De Gleder May. Tak.
خلاص يا حسين.
أنا شكرتهم on behalf of you.
ايوه.
لو ودختي. ما تجيبوني معكم كل يوم انتم.
Tell your friend.
Tell my nephew.
Tell your friend you will come again.
Yes, I told him every day I'll come with you from now. Okay? Only to make jokes for the clients and I go and I have money. But you for free for today.
Thank you very much.
Your first time, huh?
Thank you. Yes.
So I forgive you today.
Thank you.
You pay for me next time, huh? Have a happy life, man.
Thank you.
Welcome to Egypt.
Say, hello. Shuet, say that again.
Welcome to Egypt.
Welcome to Alaska.
Do you feel better with your feet on the ground?
Yes, of course. I'm still trying to hold up my
And this is the evidence. Sugarcane. Yes, sugarcane.
Have a bite.
Tutu.
I'm thinking.
This is his basket of secrets.
Would you please give Saleh a kiss goodbye?
I'm not allowed to.
Well, of course you
For
are.
him it's something normal. He's a guide.
What do you say?
Nothing. You're his father. You're not Muslim.
What about
Just
what?
kiss him if you want.
You don't have to be told how to say thank you.
That's it.
You want more? Hello. حظي صبي أنا يا خولات تعالي يا شربت يا شيخة
بلاش نلعب
تعالي والله انت عاوزاها وخايفة اديتها لي قبل كيف
يا عم صالح.
يا بنت عند الكرنك ما اديتهمش عند الكرنك بوستيني ولا
ايوه
لا
ماشي.
بوسيني تاني كده تمام عاوزاها قاعدة تعملها نفس This is the premier tomb interested on Egypt. Was the last one we discovered, number 62, by Mr. John Howard Carter, the English Egyptologist and archaeologist, 1922, and was discovered intact with the collection site. All the collection at Cairo Museum except 3 pieces: the stone coffin, the middle memo case, and the mummy is still inside. The tomb we call it rich.
Shawet, could you please tell me what else there is to see here in the tomb?
What are we looking at here now?
The granite sarcophagus. Okay, we discovered the mummy covered with a mask, then 3 sarcophagus. The smallest one from 118 kilogram pure gold. And I told you it's a very small tomb for a very large King Tutankhamun. And we'll see there is a lot of people who want to enter the tomb, and we are waiting for them to enter.
If you look at the side, my friend, you see KARNAK temples with the great obelisk. You can see it very clear.
So you enjoy your life here?
Terry, my dear friend Terry, we are at Abydos. And Abydos, the main cult of the god Osiris, the god of resurrection, death, and justice. The temple, Ramses II and his father, Seti I.
Was Abydos the first capital of
the first
Egypt?
capital for the pre-dynastic age. The first capital for the first dynasty.
What period in BC?
3200 BC.
The original capital
Yes,
of Egypt.
yes.
Say that loudly.
The original capital, first capital of Egypt, Abydos, and it's called Tina at that time. 3200 before Christ.
And the name was?
Tina. And then the name was the name of Abydos.
What is this hieroglyphic?
This hieroglyphic. This is the two names.
Speak loudly. Loud.
The two names of Ramses II. Two names of Ramses II. We start here, lotus flower. It means Upper Egypt. The B means Lower Egypt. The two half loaf, it means T. Lotus read Nissu. And the honeybee like English bee. Together Nissut BT. Nissut BT means the king of Upper and Lower Egypt. أوسر مع رع ستب الرع. أوسر مع رع ستب. The strongest and faithful for Ra, who is selected by Ra. Ramesses married Amun. Ramesses, the beloved of Amun. Now I am standing by the niche, and this niche used for a statue for the king Seti I. On the niche, on the right hand side, the king. On the left, the god Osiris. And the king Seti I, he stood in the presence of the god Osiris, the god of the dead, resurrection and justice. Now we are inside the sanctuary of the god Horus. And Horus is the fourth god, the son of Osiris and Isis, because this area consists of 3 sanctuaries.
You're talking too fast. So start again slowly.
Here it is the main sanctuary of the fourth god, his name Horus. And Horus was the son of Osiris and Isis. Because this area consists of 3 sanctuaries. The one here is for Horus, the one in the middle for Osiris, and the one to the far left for his brother, his name Isis. Here is the sanctuary of Osiris. And Osiris is the chief god of Abydos. He made his sanctuary as the middle, to the left is the sun. Horus, on the right hand side, his wife named Isis. And the color here is still very pretty. You can look and it's look at the painting yesterday. The most important here, you can see the figure for the king Ramesses II as a prince before he became a king.
Slowly.
This part depicted for Ramesses II when he was a prince, before he became a king. So why he dressed the animal skin as a high priest. And his father Seti I as Osiris, as a god. So the son as a high priest, and his father as a god Osiris. And usually before he became a king, he became a high priest, so usually he dressed the animal skin. Alright? Here, it is the 3rd chamber. It means the sanctuary of the goddess Isis. And Isis, the wife of Osiris, and the mother of Horus. So here we are inside the sanctuary of the goddess Isis, and depicted for Isis as the foreign place. And Isis, Osiris' wife, the mother of Horus. So the first one for Horus, the middle one for Osiris, and this one for Isis. Still one most important part, and
Where are you now?
I am now in the hall of columns, consists of 8 columns, support the roof from the ear of the king, Seti I.
I'll let you go now. You can stop. Yep. Okay.
This is the most important list still alive in Egypt for the king's names. Altogether, 76. Started with Mena, the first king of Egypt, 3200 BC. Second king is named Titi, around 3100 BC.
The third one?
The third one, it is Isis. And here I show the name.
Just say this one is
for King Khufu.
Say it loudly.
This one for King Khufu, who built the Great Pyramid.
Really?
Here it is Ramses II when he was a prince, and he helped his father, Caesar I, to hunt the cow for oats. You see the first from the paws and here on his leg. I'm the oldest. أهلا يا سيد.
اهلا يا باشا. ازيك يا عمي؟
زي الحال.
ازيك يا باشا؟ يا عم. عامل ايه يا باشا؟ ازي حالك؟
الله يبارك فيك.
ازي حالك؟
الحمد لله.
Welcome to Dundar, yes.
When did you last meet this friend of yours?
1992.
And his name?
His name Said.
Yes.
My name Hassan.
Said Hassan. Hassan Said.
Hassan Said.
Yes.
And me صالح شعلان. Let's go. يلا نطلع في بلاد من هنا قريب ولا؟
ان شاء الله كده.
ولا هنخش برضه في
لا على طول من الناحية دي.
Say goodbye.
Bye my friend. سلام.
سلام.
اشوفك ان شاء الله.
ان شاء الله بخير يا
رب
رب.
نجي زباين ونجي ان شاء الله.
ان شاء الله عم نسافر.
عشان ده مش زبون ده باجي كل سنه في السنه مرتين ثلاثه.
That is all on film.
لكن اوعدك انا لو جيت بزباين
ان شاء الله يا
ده
شيخ.
مطرحي.
Everything you say is on the camera.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Very good man.
Yes.
Oh
Very
my
good man.
God. God.
That's behind me. All this carving from Cleopatra. And this figure for Cleopatra. It was 31 BC. Because Cleopatra from 51 BC until 21 BC. Reigned around 30 years.
Who did the carving?
The carving, Cleopatra. Built Cleopatra.
She ordered it.
He ordered it. When she married for Ptolemy. When she was married for Ptolemy, first husband. Here we are inside the temple of Dendra. And Dendra temple is very famous because it is for the goddess Hathor. Build of the temple starts with the new kingdom, with Thutmose III, Ramses II, and the third. Then 100 BC starts built by Ptolemy and Cleopatra.
Just testing. I believe this gentleman is an old friend of your family.
His grandfather and his father.
So, start again. Introduce.
Yes. Introduce. Mamdouh, his father George, and his grandfather Abdul Sayyid, they worked together at KARNAK temple. Were best friends for my father and my brother. Just I know him, he belonged for this family when I came today. But Michael, I know him since he was in the LUXOR.
About 4 years?
Yeah, 4 years ago. So I am in the shop, not the shop of George, not the shop of Michael. This is my shop. Because they are part of the family, okay?
Now, what does this shop specialize in, Michael?
So we have everything the tourists need. So you can find some statues. We have gold, silver, diamond, alabaster, any kind of stone. Downstairs you can find papyrus, and upstairs you can find cotton, t-shirts, carpets, whatever you like. So anything the tourists like, you will find it here.
It is a cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan.
When did you start the shop?
I started before 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
On your own?
Yes, on his own.
With his own money?
Sorry?
With his own money?
With his own money.
And this shop is now 100%
Egyptian.
Egyptian.
I tell you add information about George. George, besides he worked in KARNAK temple as a carpenter, he worked in Chicago University Institute of LUXOR.
The owner's father.
His father.
His father.
Worked in Chicago Institute University of Chicago in LUXOR. Dr. Nims, the American.
So,
And Labib Habashi.
And Dr. Labib Habashi.
Dr. Labib Habashi.
And Dr. Mustafa Sobhi. And Dr. Abdul Hafiz Abdul Al. I name all them. All these Egyptologists.
So, Saleh, I would like you to say to the world, tourists coming to LUXOR, you are welcome to the shop.
I say for the world, for tourists who come to LUXOR, you should come and visit the shop because you find all you need to as a present and souvenirs for you or for your family and friends. I talk to these people, all of them, I know their family. And I told the names of their families.
Okay.
So they recognize me.
Good.
His name Ali.
Yeah.
Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves.
اول
الحمد لله يا عمي ربك عداها بالستر يا ولد.
كنا ونعمل أشهر كريمين.
ممدوح يا عمي.
يا أخ ممدوح. أقسم لك بالله مش عشان قاعدك أنا أول نتعرف. هلا أنا برجع بديوي.
والله والشباب اللي أصغر من الدو كمان يزيد عليه دو الرقات. هو زي ما تقول على أبوه والله وإحنا كذلك الناس.
تعرف هو مخلص معانا أكثر ليه؟ عشت مع جماعة من هذا ولد والله العظيم يوسف ابو عبد الحميد واحمد ابو يوسف ودخلت ابوي شقيق. لا؟ يوسف امه قديم.
يبقى النهارده تروح تاخذ باقي النهار.
بس تمام اما فضل الثالث. بقول لك امهم
يا ونيس
يوسف وعبد الباسط واخد بالك وخضره بيتها عند بيت كزك هنا.
طيب
كان واحد من الزريعه.
اما كان الجبل ابلبيب
يقول لك تمام تعال نتعرف عن الصبر وانا
خلي بالك النويه
النونة
بعيد شوي انت حامد
النونة النونة ايوه صبر عام عشان تجيبه بالتلفزيون
عربي وجاب نوجان
ليه ما جيتش بالشارع انت كيف وقفتها هنا؟
انا اصلا انا ايه؟
ما كلك يا ابو لقمه معاهم انت؟
انا
يا ريس
هنطلع كده احنا طالعين
كلك لقمه معاهم تبى تغسل
بالبني
لا تمام والله
هنفوت على عمرو بحسيب نتف عليه ونمشي ما حد يغلط فيكم انا اغلط فيه لكن والله ما اخلي حد يغلط فيه ده ولد عمي ما خليكم كويسين يعني ولد عمي صح والله انا اقول اتف عليها بتاع لك انا اقول انا بس لكن حد يغلط في عامر لا
الناس دي كلها صبيعه
ده ابوه حسيب رضي الله عنه ما مات محمد ابو احمد مات توها
SALEH.
Yes, sir. الو عليكم السلام. الحمد لله اهلا ازيك يا عمر؟ يا راجل طيب ماشي شوف الجماعه ربط معاهم ان شاء الله واجي ماشي عبد العم بارك الله.
Would you please now start from the top and just say, I am now sitting in my great grandfather's field, and tell me about this piece of land we are sitting in and who these people are.
Yes.
Go.
With sunglasses or without? With sunglasses or without?
Without.
استنى بقولوا معاك
استنى
انتوا بيت العاط اصلا.
استنى يا عم ممدوح.
Good morning Mr. Terry. My name صالح. My name صالح. This land from my great grandfather. I'm living in the old KARNAK village, where my great ancestors, the great pharaohs, where they have temples and obelisks and statues. I'm very proud to be from Egypt because it is my mother. Egypt is my mother. So I love my country so much. And so when I come to countryside, I remember my great grandfather who worked in this field. Until my father, they inherit, and I see I'm planting it, and all these people, This the one for the water pump. His name Amir. This boy, his name Hazim. His name Ashraf. And this is bloody Kamal, the driver. And Mahi, Mamdouh, Abu Groon. Mahmoud. Hamid from Abbadi family. Belong to for Takroof. And this is my Coptic friend, the mechanical engineer.
Mechaniki.
Yes.
Now, how long has this been in your family?
This, my friend Amir, he lived here in this house with the tree.
No, how long has this land, this farm, been in your family?
It's handled for 14 generations. 14 generations.
How many years is that?
It is around maybe 89 years.
الترمسة وين هات الترمسة وفرجي عليها يا عمي.
Repeat that.
Yes. This land for my great grandfather, maybe now this land from 189 years.
بيطلوش
From father to son. And this little Saleh. Hello, Saleh. Can you see little Saleh? Saleh. وين العصاية جدي؟ ها؟ صالوح. وين العصاية؟ جدو.
أنا